Introducing the Open Palm Podcast with host Jerome Shaw, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. The Open Palm Podcast is a positive, uplifting, motivational, and inspirational podcast. The host brings his insight and philosophy, and you can't help but gravitate towards his smile, his words, and his wisdom. Again, the podcast he hosts is titled The Open Palm Podcast. It's about inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas and topics. He'll also help you become more aware and in harmony with your own life, giving you a better understanding of your place in the world and using your skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. You can find the show today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also connect with the host on Instagram at JRomeShaw. That's JROMESHAW on Instagram. Jerome Shaw with the Open Palm Podcast. Motivation, meditation, mentality. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.
Silence is a source of great strength. This is a quote by Lao Tzu, and it really speaks to me today. Because lately, I've been observing the art of silence. To say nothing, to reserve your energy, to reserve your judgment, to simply observe, not even to analyze, but just to watch, notice, being quiet, being still, holding that space of silence. When I was in a meditation center and I lived around Burmese monks and nuns, there was a lady there named Rose. And this lady was living there just like the other people who had come from different places. But there was something very interesting about this lady. She didn't speak. I never heard her speak but one time, one day. And when I did, it was so shocking because before that point, I had only seen her look at me, smile, and keep it moving. She would just have a walking regimen where she would just walk. She never said a word. She never spoke. And when she did, I was so shocked. And she said, "Oh yeah, I'm actually not supposed to be talking right now. I'm just, because my daughter's coming today, that's the reason why I'm speaking." And I asked her, I introduced myself to her and I asked her why it was that she wasn't speaking. She told me that she was intentionally taking, a vow of noble silence. Just a vow of silence. Intentionally not saying a word. And she told me that she would do this for days. For days she wouldn't utter a word. She would be silent. And she explained to me that being energetic beings, our energy leaks out when we speak. Our words hold energy. They hold a vibration, and whenever we speak these words, they hold that energy. But when we don't speak, we hold that energy. So our energy is not all over the place when we're talking. If you've ever known somebody to talk and go on and go on and go on, what they're doing is they're imprinting their energy everywhere. But when they allow themselves to be quiet, be silent, that's when they can hear that still voice. That's when other energies of the universe imprint onto them. So she told me that you would be amazed what you hear when you start to listen. She explained to me that she was able to do things that I would never believe. And I asked this lady, I said, Rose, try me. I think of myself as open-minded. I keep an open mind. What is it that you experience by not talking? And she said, no, you wouldn't believe me. I said, give me a chance. And she told me that she was able to communicate telepathically, not only with other people, but intergalactic beings. All because she reserved that energy. And instead of speaking, she was silent. But she said these supernatural powers would only come to her when she was silent for long periods, saying nothing, not uttering one word for days. She would get more and more and more and more downloads and more conversations with beings who did not use words to speak. When you are silent, you are directly communicating without words, and you will receive communication without words. Give it a try. See for yourself the power of silence and what you can learn when you listen. Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, the Open Palm Podcast here in San Antonio, Texas. I trust you received an encouraging message about silence, letting you know that, yes, we can talk. And the voice is powerful, but so is silence. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if this is your first time receiving this podcast, subscribe for more inspirational messages like this. And if you'd like to support, head on over to anchor.fm/jshaw. Clicking that support button is much appreciated. Big shout out to all the wonderful supporters who donate to the podcast, making it possible for episodes like this. Have a wonderful and blessed day or night, wherever you are, my friend. And as always, take care.